So I'm just going to call this lesson 13 continued because something happened and the iPad stopped working for a minute. So I'm going to continue on in this new same lesson, part 2. So what type of sentence is this? It's cumulative, right? I see, and then we have all of the rest of the ideas following. So a cumulative sentence, right? So what does that do? It makes us focused. This information, since it's not detailed, makes us focus back on the subject, right? And so Ralph Waldo Emerson is probably intending to have us identify with the speaker, or it might be himself, and what he is experiencing. So number 5, also him. Not less excellent, except for our less susceptibility in the afternoon, was the charm, last event, of a January sunset. Not less excellent, except for our less susceptibility in the afternoon, was the charm, last event, of a January sunset. What type of sentence do we have here? Find the subject and verb. Subject, verb. Charm was. This would be an A positive, renaming charm. And this is a prepositional phrase, so it can't be our subject. Charm was. It's inverted. So we have inversion and the main idea coming later. So we have periodic and inversion. Why? Well, it's intended. And in this case, what comes last is the last modifier. It's what the author experiences last, or the speaker experiences last too. So the speaker's experience mimics the reader's experience. We are delayed, just like this came last in the day. And so we do have that similarity, but also the idea that something is unexpected. All right? Inversion is unexpected. So that is a mimicry or parallels the idea that later in the day we'd experience something that impacts us greatly when we're tired, or later in the day there can still be something pretty impressive to experience. So the periodic imitates the last situation, and it's heightened because it stands out as last, and the inversion reinforces the idea that something is out of the ordinary. So the syntax reinforces the message. We have one more to do. So I am just going to check and see if the iPad is still filming. Yes, it is. Okay. So I don't want to do this a third time. So this is our last sentence we're going to go over. It's by Chief Seattle. And he, as far as I understand, was reluctantly had to sign peace treaties and give up his land, which he didn't want to. He was very reticent to do so, but didn't have any choice. And so here, this is a very, very well-constructed sentence, and hopefully the translators were really imitating the syntax of Chief Seattle, too. They probably were, because it was probably a translation. When the buffalo are all slaughtered, the wild horses all tamed, the secret corners of the forest heavy with the scent of many men, and the view of the ripe hills blotted by talking wires, where is the thicket? Many factors contributing to the message and the emotional impact. What's my main subject and verb? What are my main subject and verb? Thicket comes the last. So this is really very periodic. And verb comes before the subject, obviously, if the subject comes last. So we have inversion and periodic. Very atypical, right? Especially after such a long lead up. Then what do I have leading up? I have parallelism, and that's what you're going to study this week. When the buffalo are all slaughtered. And understood here is when. When the wild horses all tamed. all right? So I have, when the buffalo are all slaughtered, I have a past participle, predicate adjective here. And here I don't have the verb, well, I just don't have are all tamed, when the wild horses all tamed. No, I really don't have a verb there, but I have the same idea. I have a past participle and a past participle, and I have one here, blotted. So I have a lot of past participles, and I have the passive voice here, right? So the passive voice is a form of be, which is are, is a conjugation of the verb be, and a past participle. Doesn't the passive voice suggest what the Native Americans were going through? They were forced to concede to these peace treaties, and they were forced to give up their land. They were helpless, and that goes with the passive voice that this is worded in, right? There is no control held by the Native Americans here. So passive voice, and then participles repeated, and a lot of leading up. So a lot of repetition, and that is called parallelism. Parallelism is just repetition of an idea, the same idea repeated, the same structure repeated, or the exact same words repeated. Sometimes we do have that too. So we do have really like triple parallelism here. Ideas, structures, and words are all repeated. And that just emphasizes the emotional situation. It heightens, repetition heightens the intensity of what the Native Americans were feeling, how more and more distraught they felt at losing their way of life and their lands. So this is the vulnerability is enhanced, the emotion, and we have an inversion. Inversion means something not in the normal order. It wasn't in their normal order to have their lands taken away. So inversion emphasizes something out of the ordinary. And a question is also indefinite, all right? So passive voice, question, and interrogative sentence, it's all very indefinite, like the control is just ripped right out of the Native Americans' hands and reinforced, all that feeling that they're feeling, reinforced by this parallelism, this periodic aspect of the sentence, the interrogative aspect of the sentence, and the inversion. So that's to finish lesson 13. And now you can see the syntax, the sentence types and structuring and ordering reinforces the message, probably sometimes even more than the content of the words. Thank you.